double coverage.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Double Coverage. Hope you're still living, loving, and breathing sport. I'm Don with the great man, Sauce. Sorry for the delayed start, ladies and gents. As you know, Sauce and I, we always get on a bit earlier, and we've been blabbing for the last hour. Blabbing. Let us know in the chat. Let us know. Let us know in the chat if you listen to this or you're going to listen to this. Should Sauce and I start a Double Coverage Uncensored channel on Rumble so we can just talk about anything? Anything. Would you be?
We'll still obviously keep this usual pod talking about sports and training, but this is an uncensored Rumble exclusive. So I mean, YouTube's got a lot of censoring, so we could talk absolutely anything and everything and say whatever the fuck we want.
And you can send us topics, you can send us clips,
anything. It could be anything.
We can talk about anything. It's literally taking what are we doing here and
put it on steroids. Yes. Pumping it with the peptides like the Dons back in whenever that was. Let me talk about the Dons! Let's go! 13 years we've broken one of the droughts, Stommer. 13 years we hadn't beaten them for.
I actually cannot wait to talk about that game when we get to AFL. Because you know what we spoke about last week on this show about one certain team. I'll tell you what, some certain things have happened after that Dreamtime game, and I'll tell you what, their whole demeanor changed the moment that Durham kicked that goal. A lot has changed.
A lot.
A lot. So I can't wait to get to that. But Sauce, where we're going to start, because a few interesting things have happened yesterday. Obviously, we can report on it today, but Denver making it to their first finals ever in the history of their franchise. The Joker, as you put in the title, has the last laugh. And in doing so, I don't want to overshadow it. Yeah. Obviously, with LeBron potentially on the retirement.
We'll talk about how great he was in a second.
So we're going to go with Denver first, and we're going to talk about how good they were. And yes, I know we said just relax on them winning the title, this and that. But Saucy has been watching them, and he reckons they are a fantastic basketball squad. And I think it's safe to say that Nikola Jokic should have won the MVP. It's pretty clear cut.
Oh, and we were saying that. We were saying that he should have won it over Embiid. Not saying anything.
Adam says, don't be playing on the Rumble. That's like giving a kid the keys to Disneyland. Yeah, we're not playing. We're not playing. If that's what the fans want, we will give it to them. So extra content, we'll put it obviously in podcast format only, the talking, the audio, sorry, but the video will have to go on Rumble. We'll get booted off YouTube. But Sauce, give us a rundown on Denver. What did you see? Tell us about Jokic and Murray.
Look, very, solid squad. Obviously, they've improved since the squad that they had, back when we beat them in the bubble, in the Western Conference Finals, when we faced them again back then. And look, you can just tell that they had continuity in that team. Like they'd been together from the beginning of the season, no ins and outs, chopping and changing too much. A lot of those guys were there already. They were fit, healthy, going in. And look, it was just phenomenal performance by Jokic, and like obviously Jamal Murray, he was very good, but just overall they were brilliant. And in the clutch, when it came down to fourth quarters, they executed their game plan a lot better. Their defense was on point. They were able to get the stops on the Lakers at crucial times and get those little runs, late in fourth quarters, and they closed it out. And look, let me just tell you that I had a slight feeling. I was like, well, this is going to be a real tough series in that game, when we had that opportunity, I think in game 2 to win that. And they were just hitting a lot of crazy shots, right at the end of the shot clock in game 2. And, they were able to close that one out, obviously. And I was just like, man, this is going to be tough even going home. And then when they pinched that game 3, I'd wrote us off, Dom. And I was just hoping we could maybe get one game so we don't get swept. But out came the Brooms, and the Joker had the last laugh, and he dominated the series and was definitely, obviously, the MVP of, the series, which he got as well, of the Western Conference Finals. So you look, props to the Nuggets, and I think they'll be very hard to beat, whether Boston's able to advance or Miami, which we'll talk about that in a sec. But I feel like they are the better team overall. And yeah, look, it'd be good to see them win one, and be good for the franchise that these guys have stuck together and been together for a while, and they've been able to build pieces around Jamal Murray and Jokic, and hopefully they can perform. But they've put themselves in the best position. They've won 4-0. They give themselves the most rest they could possibly get. Obviously the Heat game's now going to a game 5. So look, I think it's going to be very tough.
I think they're the team. They're the team to beat. It's fair.
Did you see the fadeaway on Anthony Davis?
Oh.
That just in his face late in the shot clock. He just like threw the ball from behind his head, like swish.
Man,
swish.
the reports coming out of the Los Angeles Ball Club, and don't get me wrong, I know they're killing Davis at the moment because he played terrible defense. He had zero effort in Game 4. It's like he pretty much packed it in, given up the series. But the talks are that everyone's pretty pissed off with him and his performance and the way he carried himself. But in saying that, man, if you don't have Davis, you're not even making it to the Western Conference Finals. Like,
I don't know what people are. I'll be honest with you. If I was speaking as a Lakers fan, I mean, I feel like we overachieved. In the ridiculous season we had LeBron injured at points. We had AD injured at points. We had, we looked absolutely terrible. We had to go on a late season run where we run like 13 of our last whatever games or something like that, or 10 of our last 14 games or whatever it was to even make it into the play-in, to then get into the play-in. And we made it through there, and we were able to find some form. We started to play some good basketball, but unfortunately, I just feel like when we came up against the better teams and they had, better systems in place, and, they were able to get a lot more easier buckets. With Jokic and his passing ability. I mean, so many just little layups to Bruce Brown just under the ring. He just a menace cutting off the ball. Aaron Gordon, the same, a menace cutting off the ball, just getting layups at the ring. And then they had the other guys that were able to step up, and, had Aaron Gordon in one game stepping up with 20 points, KCP in another game stepping up with 20 points, MPJ in one game stepped up with I think he hit like 4 or 5 threes in a quarter, and it helped him extend the lead out and get a lead in that specific game. And their 3 shooting overall was better. And in an era where you need to shoot the 3-point ball, that was the difference, Dom. I mean, I just felt like they were able at times.
They shot it at a very high clip.
Yeah, and at times where both teams were struggling, they were able to find the range. There's a period in a game where both teams might struggle from 3, and that would happen through periods of the series. But the Nuggets would find their stroke quicker than the Lakers, and then they were able to knock down threes. And then what was happening, you're going down there, like when the Warriors are on, you're trading threes for 2s. And while, we might be getting 2s at the other end with inside buckets, they're getting a 3 down the other end. So all of a sudden they got a 5-6 point lead, and then we don't get a bucket. Then they get a 2-point lead. Now it's an 8-point lead, and that's just what kept happening to us. And at the end of the day, the 3-point shooting and the Nuggets, team basketball, the way they moved the ball, they had knockdown shooters all over the park. It didn't matter where you put it out, man. They had knockdown shooters. Only Aaron Gordon was the guy that, struggled from 3, but Bruce Brown was hitting it down at a high clip. MPJ was hitting it down well. Jamal, we obviously know what he did, putting 30 points up in a half in one game. He was unbelievable. So, props to the Nuggets. Can't give him enough praise, man. Look,
we like
I will say
this show, so
I will say this, any people that are going out there and criticizing LeBron, I mean, there is only one criticism we'll have, and it's just on one play, and it is in Game 4 when he had Jokic at the top, 1-on-1. It was, I think, about 50 seconds on the shot clock, and or whatever it was. It was, I think the second last possession the Lakers got. 1-on-1, he's on 5 fouls. He just dribbled at the top of the key. I don't know why he didn't attack him. That's the one criticism I have. Other than that, I feel like LeBron played pretty good. And he's 38 years old. We can't be expecting the guy to go. I mean, he put up 31 points in a half. You would hope that some of the other guys might start picking up the slack in the second half. And I mean, they did, but unfortunately, it's sad, but we're expecting him to go out there and score 50 points for us to win that game. And is that really the reality you want, Lakers fans, with a guy that's 38 years old? I understand it's LeBron James. He might be an alien, the first one we've seen on this planet. But, is that a reality? Is it 38 years old doing that with that many minutes on his legs? Just crazy. Just crazy.
It's true.
He played the whole 12 minutes in the first quarter. He usually gets subbed out after 6 minutes. He played the whole 12 minutes.
Oh, he wanted to try and get it to a game 5. Like, let's be real. You don't want to get swept. So anyway, it is what it is. Adam says D'Lo won't be there next year. Any comments on D'Angelo Russell's performance in this series?
Ship him off. Give his whole contract to Austin Reeves.
Good call. That's a fair shout. LeBron obviously says he potentially could be retiring. He's on the way out. Is it retiring Source? Is it a threat to rebuild around different superstars? Try and keep that core with the guys they traded for in Hachimura, who was very good, Vanderbilt, but try and get rid of a star player or big contracts in D'Lo gone. But I genuinely think Anthony Davis could get traded. I think when LeBron goes, Source, like, do you win even if you have Anthony Davis? Like,
no, he's too unreliable.
Even if you get another superstar there, like LeBron goes out for Kyrie, for example. Well, we won't say Kyrie because he gets injured and does whatever he does. But let's say you get Luka Doncic there. Do you win the title even if you have Luka and Anthony Davis? I don't know. I don't think so personally. Like, James says if LeBron goes, blow it up.
Yeah, that's what I reckon too. I'm with you, James. We'll see. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Let's move on.
The other series, can the Heat clinch it in Game 5? Because it's been extended this series. Boston came out and played the best game they've played in a while, and it's going to 5 Source. Ball to the Lakers. You'd love that.
I like it. I'd love it.
I caught the game today. It was the worst game we played for a very long time. Our turnovers were ridiculous. Kyle Lowry, has been a shell of himself since he had that big game in the last series. He hasn't really done much. The guys that have stepped up have been Caleb Martin, Strus, Gabe Vincent, and of course Jimmy Buckets is just Jimmy Buckets. He took over in the third when they went on a massive run. But this was a game of runs for Boston, and those two big runs that they had at the start of the third and the start of the fourth ended the game. It was done and dusted. When they got on there, I think they had a 14-0 run Source in the start of the third quarter, and I think they had a 12-0 run at the start of the fourth. Sorry, 12-0 or 14-0 run third, 12-0 in the fourth. And then we try to get back into it in the second half of that half. So it was pretty much over. Today, Gabe Vincent gets hurt, his ankle. Don't know the severity of that. I don't know what's going to happen there. You know me, Sauce. You know I'm not too confident. Venom's in. He says Boston in 7. And it is Jason Tatum. He's only 19. So, that's what everyone keeps telling us.
I will say this for Jason Tatum. I will say, just listen to this. Listen to this, Tom.
I will listen.
Jason Tatum. This is your first chance in your young career to write some history and start building a legacy. Can you be the first player to lead your team back from 3-0 in a series ever? Teams are 149-0 in doing this. 149-0. Yes, you heard that right. In leading, coming back from a 3-0 deficit in a series, can you be the first player ever to lead your team to do that? I don't think you can, personally. I think the Heat will close this out, whether it be in Boston or it be back at their home court. I feel like they play better. They got jumped. You
scary.
got jumped a little bit in the third quarter, coming out
Yeah.
after halftime. You got jumped,
Or half
and they won't let that happen. You were a bit asleep at the wheel. You know, maybe
Wasn't
thought
great.
that you had it in the bag because they did get out to a bit of a lead and you pegged it back in the first quarter. They had the runs going back and forth, but struggled when you came out after halftime, which was a bit bizarre.
Grant Williams was hitting shots all over the place. Even Al Horford.
They
They shot the three ball.
Doma,
Their
3-point shooting. That's the only way they can win because their inside game is not good enough. Your defense inside is good enough to trouble them, right?
The problem is
their 3-ball has to fall for them in the next 4 games, and your 3-ball has to be off in all of those games.
Yeah, which it was today, and that's the reason why they were
exactly.
That's why they
I know
we had
Big
turnovers. We had
missed a few. He's usually good.
Robinson missed some threes. He had some good looks. Missed those.
He got one rejected by Derek White. I seen that was a nice block.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, it is what it is. The best team left is Denver. Let's just put it that way.
They are the team to beat.
So, yeah, they are the team to beat. We'll wait and see what happens. Let's move on, Source. Let's get to some quick EPL talk because the season's over. Because the reason
obviously, congratulations, Manchester City. They've locked it up. They dispatched of Chelsea, celebrated it. Some great videos of fans trying to.
I'm not congratulating them. Fuck them.
You got to be humble. You got to be humble in defeat, Doma. Your team was not good
not
enough.
To them.
Mean, no, you know what, Doma.
Not to them.
All right. He's a true Manchester United supporter.
Not to them. They can go jam it.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
They're going to win the Champions League, which we'll talk about in a second. But
Doma, all I'll say, you have to. The ball is in your court, Manchester United's court, to stop the treble. Yes.
And I was about to say, Source, if every Premier League fan out there, if you're listening to this podcast, if you're not listening to this podcast, feel free to click this and send it. I don't care. If you're not barracking for United in that FA Cup final, you have rocks in your head. Straight up. You're a fool. Like, I'll tell you straight to your face, you are an idiot. If someone comes up to me in the street and goes, I'm glad they beat you in the FA Cup, I'll say, sir, you're a fucking idiot. That's what you are. A dead set flog. You've got no idea. So
Doma just likes that United was the last team to do it.
No, I don't care about that. Source, I don't give a fuck about that. The only thing that I'd be happy about if Man City did the treble is Haaland winning the Ballon d'Or. But even if he does win the treble and he's kicked the most goals in Premier League history, he's still not going to win the Ballon d'Or. He's going to get robbed like Wesley Sneijder did that year. He won the treble and he made it to the World Cup final because Messi's just going to take it from him. Yeah, he won a World Cup. He's kicked 20 goals and had 20 assists in the French league. It's like unbelievable. He had 20 goals and 20 assists, and we're talking about it like it's the greatest thing ever. Ronaldo kicks 20 goals in the Premier League, and no one gives a fuck. So I'm just telling you, he won a World Cup, he's getting it. So I'm just telling you, if you want to see injustice, just wait for that to happen, the Ballon d'Or. If Haaland does not win the Ballon d'Or, it is a disgrace.
He's broken the Premier League scoring
He's not winning it. He's not winning it. Source, I'm telling you, he's not winning it.
Shearer's record.
Source,
he's
not winning it.
Who had it?
Mark today, Shearer. Mark today the day. What's today's date? Mark today, the 24th of May. Wednesday, the 24th of May. Double coverage, episode 151. The day that I told you he is not winning the Ballon d'Or. If he wins it, I don't care. You say, oh, Dom, you're a dickhead. Huh? But I'll be like, I don't care. He bagged me. I'm happy that he won it, Haaland. But mark the day. Today is the day, Source. I'm telling you what, he's not winning it. It's going to be a Wesley Sneijder version 2.0.
Robbery.
Exactly right. Robbery. But let's get to the results. They won the title. But Newcastle, they beat Brighton 4-1. The other result, though, their 0-0 draw with Leicester gets them into Champions League football for next season, Source, which is amazing for Newcastle and their supporter base. We love them
club because they'll be able to recruit some players now, and and more players.
That's the whole thing. You make Champions League, they got all the money.
Funds.
They got all the
money. That's right.
They'll be able to go out there and recruit heavily and throw the checkbook out, which will be good. Tottenham lost to Brentford 3-1. They're a shambles. Everton drew with Wolves 1-1. Liverpool 1-1 with Villa in Firmino's last game at the club, at Anfield. Fulham drew 2-2 with Palace. United 1-0 over Bournemouth. Arsenal lost to Nottingham. It's okay, Sauce. You overachieved. You finished second. So what more do you want? So that's all you keep getting told.
I didn't even watch the game, Dom.
Yeah, West Ham lost. West Ham beat Leeds 3-1. Brighton 3-1 over Southampton. City 1-0 over Chelsea. And as I said, Newcastle and Leicester 0-0. Games this week. Brighton Man City is tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. And then 5 a.m. on Friday morning. I'll be sure to get up for Man United versus Chelsea. Then we have Arsenal Wolves, Villa Brighton, Brentford Man City, Chelsea Newcastle, Palace Nottingham, Everton Bournemouth, Leeds Tottenham, Leicester West Ham, United Fulham, and Southampton Liverpool. And that is the
all the games on at the same time?
Yes, they'll all be on at the same time, and that will be the conclusion source of the Premier League season. It'll be done and dusted. So that is going to disappear off the podcast for a few months. Obviously, we have a look at the transfers. We'll report them when Fabrizio goes crazy with his here we goes in the off season with everyone moving around. So we do report all that stuff. But the one last game that we will obviously be reporting on is the Champions League final.
I was going to say that. And also, while you're there, Dom, after this, we'll have a quick look at the German league because that's really, really close at the moment. And Dortmund's actually sitting on top. So it's getting spicy. And there's actually a bit of a challenge this year where usually by this time of the season, Bayern's ran away with it. Ran away with it. So it's actually a good chance that they could get pipped this year. So we'll have a look at it.
Definitely. So it's 11th of June, City versus Inter, 5 a.m. on the 11th of June. That is in 2 weeks' time. Looking forward to this one. I'm going for Inter. I think Saucy might be going for Inter. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm going for Inter. Of course.
City, my prediction was them to beat Madrid, and I'm going to predict them to win the Champions League. And yourself, Sauce?
Well, I think they'll win, but let's just hope Inter Milan can pull off an Italian job and park the bus. And do a highway robbery. Literally an Italian job, mate. That's what it would have to be. Yeah. It has to be an Italian job, like the old Mourinho did when he ripped one and won the Champions League with that team. I seen a little clip. Someone put that team together. You know, the guys that were in there. You just got to go back, have a look back at that team that year that Mourinho won the. Oh, unbelievable. And what he's doing with Roma is unbelievable as well. I don't think he's getting enough credit with what he's doing, making it to the final. In that
he's a great manager. United should never have got rid of him. I like Ten Hag, but United should never have got rid of him.
I was reading somewhere their net spend was like $10 million or something like that in the transfer. They only spent $10 million.
Should never have got rid of Mourinho at the club.
Like he's barely got any money. He's barely got any money to spend there at Roma, and the results he's getting. Like he's bringing in.
Yeah, because it's a cultural thing at Roma. Source, it's a cultural thing. That was the problem at United. It's a cultural thing. It had nothing to do with Mourinho. Got us to our best finish, second. All these managers we've had, second's the best finish we've had post Ferguson. We haven't been there since. Ten Hag's not getting us second. Like top 4, it's fantastic, and hopefully we play Champions League. But just a credit to Mourinho, he's had success everywhere. Yeah, he didn't win a Champions League at United, but finishing second was to City.
Did he get the FA Cup?
Oh no, he did. He won a cup. I think he won the FA Cup. Yeah, with United. More than anyone else, the only other person won a trophy is Solskjaer. Won the Carabao Cup. Got us to a FA Cup final. We've got to wait and see how that pans out. But as you said, Sauce, yeah, so 11th of June is that. But as you did mention, the Bundesliga.
Let's have a quick look at it.
Last game.
Bring it up if you can.
I will. I'll just share the matchups for the week, and then I'll get to the standings.
It's the last game of the round, is it?
It is. I'll zoom in. Don't worry. All right, so Dortmund's got Mainz. And Cologne's got Bayern. There you go. This is the big ones. It is on at 11:30 on Saturday night.
I might have
So
to tune in.
primetime viewing, all the games are on at the same time. All right, primetime viewing. This is the standings at the moment. There it is. A draw will not do. They have to win.
They have to win.
They have to win. They can draw only if Bayern draw or lose. But if
Their
Bayern
goal
wins,
difference is way.
they have to win.
Bayern's goal difference is way better.
Yeah. So if Bayern wins, they have to win, and the games are happening at the same time. So strap yourselves in. So Dortmund is playing 9th,
it's going to be juicy.
Which is Mainz, and Bayern is playing Cologne in 10th. So 2 mid-table teams. They should both win. So run of the form, as you can see, Dortmund's got the better run of the form. They've won 4 of their last 5 with a draw in there, and Bayern's won 3 of their last 5 with 2 losses in there.
Ooh.
So tune into that one, 11:30, ladies and gents, on a Saturday night. So that is set to be an absolute cracker.
Get ready.
All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. We got AFL to get to, mate. Let's get to round 10. Started off Friday night. Port Adelaide against the D's. Port get it done by 4 points, 11-14, 80 to 11-10, 76 in a ripping game. Zach Butters, 41 touches in this game.
Huge
Absolutely balled out. Balled out, Sauce. Killed it. So they get the 4 points. They've won 8 straight. Is that correct? Or 7 straight or something? Or 6 straight? Port? Maybe it's 6 straight.
Yeah, something like that.
They're on fire at the moment, so they're playing good footy.
Second on the ladder.
Yeah, the second. We'll get to the ladder. Have I got it up? No, I should open it. The Saturday game, primetime game, of course. North Melbourne versus Sydney. Turned out to be an absolute cracker to the last minute when we had an interchange infringement and gave Sydney the win. They
You're
beat
tanking,
us
93
to 90.
It was on purpose, bro.
Yeah.
It was on purpose.
The Dogs get the win over Adelaide by 45 points. They kicked 11-19 in this game, the Dogs, to 5-10. So they could have slapped them by even more.
Terrible
Good win.
Down there, Ballarat, too.
Yeah, terrible. But the Dogs are very good at Ballarat, the form says. So should have looked at that one, ladies and gents. Freo, 16-10, 106 defeat the Cats, 11-11, 77 over in Perth. Get the job done. No surprises there. The team's injury riddled at the moment, the Cats. So they're in a bit of strife. The Lions defeat the Suns by 43. No surprise there. I'll get to your game last, Sauce. The Sunday game, the Hawks 22-10, 142 defeat the Eagles 4-26. I don't know if you saw, but Mitch Lewis for the Hawks scored 6 goals 2 in this game. So he outscored the West Coast Eagles himself, one player for the Hawks, which is hilarious. The Giants get done by the Saints by 12 points. And the Blues, although it wasn't 50 points, Sauce, we did think when we were watching this on Sunday that it potentially could have got to that. But 28-point winners. You said 5 goals, I think, last week, Sauce. You said 30 points. They'll win the game, the Pies. So 7-15, 57 to 13-7, 85. Pies get the job done. Got to take a peg back, the Blues fans, and have a good look at where they are this season. I'll bring up a ladder in a second. They're in a bit of a struggle. And, of course, we'll finish off the round with Dream Time at the G. On Saturday night, it was 10-11, 71 to the Dons, to 10-10, 70 to the Tigers. Good win, Sauce. Give us a bit of a rundown. How you feeling? You know, you broke this drought that you mentioned at the top of the show.
I was ecstatic, mate. I was ecstatic. Broke the drought, 13 years we hadn't beaten them for. And, yeah, it was good to knock that one off. It was good to knock that one off the list. And how it all happened was amazing. The last minute mark, obviously, by Sam Durham. You had Jakey, the package stringer, turn it on in the last quarter in typical fashion to help us get over the line when we needed a spark, which was, what was good to see. But look, I will not beat around the bush and say it in all honesty. We got a lot of work to do, Essendon fans and Essendon boys out there and the players. We've got a lot of work to do where to get to the next level. But it was good to get that that one knocked off. I mean, not beating them in 13 years, we hadn't beaten them for. It's pretty crazy. To do it at Dreamtime at the G game, which is a big spectacle, 78,000 people in attendance. It was brilliant. And the manner it happened was just brilliant. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend the game. I had to, had a dinner, but I will be honest with you. I had the KO right there at dinner. And then after dinner, I was walking down the streets of Chinatown, watching it on my phone. And when we got the mark at the last second, I was screaming in the middle of the street. People were looking at me like, what's this lemon doing? But I didn't give a shit because I was celebrating the victory, mate. I was celebrating the victory. And it was bittersweet. It was bittersweet because I couldn't be there, but it was good to still be able to see it live. And that's why you've got the apps on the phone, the technologies these days, anywhere, any place, anytime you can tune into the game with a provider. If they want to sponsor us, I would have plugged their name after that little thing, but I'm not going to plug them. You know what I mean? Businessman. So I'm thinking about pod first. I'm thinking about the pod first. Can't be giving them the plug. You know what I mean?
I love it.
But
I love it.
ladies and gentlemen, it was so good to get the win. And look, we're going to win this week because we got West Coast, which is the bye. So that's going to be good. And that'll be back-to-back wins. So it'll be good to get another one on the board. But nonetheless, enough of me rambling on about the Dons because we're not that good of a side. We're not going to do anything this season and we're not a real contender. But it's just good to beat Richmond. Just great to beat Richmond. I mean, you hadn't beaten them in 13 years. 13 years we haven't beaten them. The next one we're going to try get is Collingwood. We haven't beaten them for a little while too, so we just missed this year. But I think they're going to be the team to beat. They look like the team to beat. I'll just put that out there as we're speaking about they are the team to beat. They play a great brand of football. They can chase down scores. They can defend scores. They're good at getting from the front. I mean, they got out to a lead in that game, and they sort of just Carlton would make a little run, and they just give a little stiff arm and just go, no, we'll just bang one, bang two. Oh, Carlton get one back, get two back. Let's just bang another two. You know what I mean? They just keep them at arm's length, once because they got out to nearly a 40-point lead early on in that game, Doma, and they just controlled it and managed it perfectly.
They did a great job.
They do look like the best side in the comp at the moment.
Chat's been lighting up here. Jono, welcome. He says, oh my God, it's Sauce. Ziggy's tuned in all the way from the States. Good to have you, Ziggy. We haven't spoken in a while. Hope you are going well. Matty Tabe said Tex is back in for the Crows this week and a nice win for your boy Saucy. The other news, though, Sauce, that came out of that game, we're not finished yet. We're not finished with this Dreamtime game, all right? Because Sauce balled out in the hoops on Monday night. And we're playing there, having our little domestic game. And we finished. We whipped out our phones and we seen that Damien Hardwick had resigned as the coach of the Richmond Football Club. Effective immediately, yes. That was it. But not only did you make their coach quit, which is not the reason, but we'll say it for just the joy of bringing this up.
Damien said, mate, the day I lose to Essendon is the day I'm quitting.
Exactly. We'll just make up all this stuff so we can segue into the fact that I cannot believe what has happened in a week turnaround, Source.
Last week they were winning the flag.
Round 9, the Tigers.
They're back. They were winning the flag.
Round 9, 2023 premiers were the Tigers in round 9. That was it. I was told we are back. It's over for the rest of the comp. It's over. The moment Durham kicked that goal, I heard season's done. What's the point anymore? Season's over.
Can't even beat Essendon.
What happened? It's only
Tigers
7
fans,
days.
tell us what happened. What happened?
Richmond fans, if any of you are listening, please enlighten us with what has happened. Because I was told that you were winning the flag last week. Same with Sauce. People were saying we're winning it. We're winning it. Richmond's winning it. Now Hardwick's resigned. I get it. You've resigned the fact as well as a supporter base that you've got any chance of winning this year. That's what you keep telling us all as well. That's all you see in all these forums. But the other thing too is, in typical Richmond supporter fashion, they keep telling us, oh, but we won 3 flags. Who gives a fuck? I don't hear Hawthorn supporters saying, oh, we won 3 flags, or Brisbane supporters going, oh, we won 3 in a row. They don't bring that up when they lose a prelim final. Brisbane fans last year when they lost in a prelim, they didn't go, oh, yeah, but we won 3 flags in a row in the early 2000s. Oh, the Dons haven't made finals in fucking how long, Sauce?
Yeah, but we won it in 2000, mate.
You won it in 2000. North's going to Tassie. Yeah, but don't worry about that. We won it in 96 and 99. Like, who cares if we go to Tassie? We won it. What are you talking about? You're just not good. Just admit you're not good. You finished 9th your whole existence as a football club, pretty much. You win 3 flags. And that's all we... Anyway.
That's all they come back to. Doma, tell me, what has it got to do with the price of fish today?
Nothing.
Exactly. So
Nothing.
What they're rambling on because that's their coping mechanism to make themselves feel better that their team is now going to be back in a rebuilding phase and they're going to be fucking shit next few years. They're going to be in the
corner. They're going to be in the corner, rocking back and forth, Sauce like this, going, oh, we're finishing 9th. We're finishing 9th. We're finishing 9th. That's what they're going to be thinking the whole time. Back to 9th forever. Hardwick's not there. 9th. That's what they're going to be doing, mate. So, anyway, it's just funny. 7 days isn't a long time in football, but it sure as hell is for a Richmond supporter. That's all I'm going to say, which is very interesting. Brett says, thoughts on Wardlaw? My thoughts are you've done a good job, Brett. You've scouted him very well at the club. Congrats to you for that one. Adam says could be a jab away from the final, Saucy. The peptides. Get some more needles in the bum, you reckons. Essendon's the new Richmond, destined for 9th. Yeah, potentially. Let's get to this week's games.
Stem cells is the new thing, mate. Not the peptides. You need to get the
stem cells shouldn't be illegal. Let's go. Let's get our tips. Sydney Carlton.
Oh, up in Sydney?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to go Sydney.
I'm going Sydney because I reckon Carlton's shit. St Kilda Hawthorn.
Saints.
Yep. They should get a win. D's Fremantle here.
Yeah, D's will bounce back.
Yeah, I'm with you. They will bounce back. Cats GWS GMHBA.
I'm not confident with the Cats. I think the GWS can beat. It's just because it's down in Geelong. I'm just going to have to go with Geelong, even though they've got so many outs. Only because it's in Geelong. That's the only reason. If this was probably played at Marvel Stadium or something like that, probably could make a case for GWS.
Definitely. I'm also going the Cats. Suns Dogs.
The Dogs.
I'm going Dogs. Also, we're being the same here all the way through. The Bye versus Essendon. Richmond Port Adelaide. But I'm going to go Port as well. Well, the rumor on the street is they're getting Ken Inkley Sauce. That's what everyone's talking. Richmond. So they better
Or do you go the old when the coach goes, the new coach come in, the caretaker, they win the first game? It's when the coach gets sacked. He wasn't sacked.
It's when the coach gets sacked, usually. The Pies versus North Melbourne.
I'm going to have to pick the Collywobbles.
I'm going Pies also. And Crows, Lions, Adelaide Oval.
Adelaide will bounce back, and this is the type of game that Brisbane should win, but they will lose.
I'm going to go Brisbane just so I can be different. And I'll put Adelaide down for you. Let's have a quick look at the ladder. I'll bring it up. As it stands, 10 rounds in. We got the Pies, the Lions, Port, Melbourne, the top 4. Saints, Dogs, Geelong, and the Crows round out the top 8. Then on percentage, we have Essendon and Fremantle in 9th and 10th. Then we've got the Blues, the Swans, the Suns, and the Tigers, 11th through to 14th. And then the bottom 4 are the Giants, Hawthorn, North Melbourne, and West Coast. There's a bit of a look into the ladder. All right,
There's going to be
Saucy.
an upset somewhere, Doma. There'll be an upset somewhere here. So
Yeah, 100% there will be. Moving on to F1, just quickly, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix was postponed due to floods in Italy. I'm not sure if anyone's seen that. I don't know if it's been reported. Don't watch the news. But I was keeping up with that. Hopefully, all the people over in Italy are okay. But yeah, they had to postpone it. I don't know if I shared something in our story. Yuki Tsunoda and the crew at AlphaTauri actually went and helped the locals, sweeping out some of the flood water, trying to help them out and give them some relief. It was actually very nice. My respect for him has been put through the roof for the young fella, helping out people in need in hard times. So wishing them all the best. The race this week, Source, is the Monaco Grand Prix. So that will be on Sunday at 11 p.m. So Off the Grid will be back. And the other thing, Source.
Good time.
If you were Lewis Hamilton, would you take $75 million to go to Ferrari? Because that is the report.
For one season?
At the moment. No, to lure him there. To lure him there.
I know. I've seen it. I've seen it on Twitter.
Would you go?
Yeah, why wouldn't he go? I mean, is he really going to win another one at Mercedes? I mean, they don't.
Is he going to win one at Ferrari?
No, he's not.
Because they suck.
He's got more of a chance of winning on Mercedes. So it's just a matter of what's important to him. But maybe he's always wanted to drive for Ferrari. He's always dreamt of driving for Ferrari. So maybe it's something he's gone, well, I've actually won 7. I've won more than Michael. So I'm happy with this. No, and if I actually do go, same as Michael.
Yeah.
Is he?
I think it's the same.
Is he at the same?
Yeah, 7 apiece. Pretty sure.
Right.
I thought he won 6. Anyway, you keep going.
Or he won 7.
7.
But if he did win one at Ferrari, I mean, I think that'd elevate his status. So I think maybe that's the way he looks at it as well.
Yeah, they are obviously the most storied constructor to drive for. That's for sure.
Their car has been horrendous over the last 2 seasons. Absolutely.
He's won 7. Yeah, they both won 7.
They both won 7. There you go.
Matt Tabe says red would suit him better. I disagree. Is this Lukey? LG? Look at those Tigers in 14th. Mast? I think that's Mast. There he is, the great man. We gotta give him a moment. We gotta clap him in. The great man. Obviously, one of the hosts at Crunch Time. Good to have him in. I hope you're well. We miss you. Avondale's looking the goods, Lukey. So that's because I can't get to a game. So they're winning every game because I can't get there and freaking watch them this year. It's annoying. That's it. So me personally, I'd like to see it happen because it leaves Mercedes. If it's a personal goal of his to have always to drive for Ferrari as a dream as a kid, you know what I mean? Like, why not? Anything could happen, Source. You could go there and win a title. And what would be the perfect way to win the title, win the most ever World Championships ever, and then just drive off into the sunset? What a way to end your career, winning one at Ferrari. It would have been a shambles. Just imagine you bring it back. That'd be absolutely incredible. Half the car, half the driver, you think. It's a lot of the car. It is a lot of the car. As you can tell, the Red Bulls are just so good. The driver just needs to make sure they can get it to the finish line. So, Lukey says, miss you lads. Hope you guys are good. We are very well. We are very, very well. All right, Sauce, I'm throwing it to you. UFC, before we get into some hobby talk, to chop it up a bit.
Doma, as you know, You can't enter the octagon or roll on that mat without the Roll Clean soap. And if you didn't know, now you know that this segment is sponsored by Roll Clean Soap, the number one in MMA, BJJ, and martial arts hygiene. Roll Clean Soap is a proud family-run Australian business. Roll Clean is made with 100% natural ingredients and helps keep you clean on and off the mats. Don't be the smelly guy at the gym. Walk in with confidence with Roll Clean and destroy the competition. Roll Clean offers a wide range of products targeted in assisting post-training recovery. Our magnesium bath salts, bath bombs, and boost balm can help ease those aches and pains after a hard training session. Roll Clean offers many soap varieties to choose from. Just visit www.3ws.com. Not .com. www.rollclean.com.au or hit them up on social media at Roll Clean Soap. Roll Clean, we've got your back. Don't mess it up. Double coverage at checkout for 20% off your first order. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The best in the business. And I wouldn't go anywhere or travel anywhere without my Roll Clean soap anymore because we know what happened last time, Thomas.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. This past weekend, you had fight night. Mackenzie Dern against Angela Hill. I'll run through the main card, give the results in the lightweight division. Diego Ferreira got the KO in the second round against Michael Johnson. In the welterweight division, you had Jalkin Buckley, who talked about he talked about in the pre-press conference. He's sick of getting knocked out. He's had 6 losses. He had a few knockouts along the way, and he's sick of getting knocked out. And he feels like he's not a bad fighter. He's a bit rash in his decision. He needs to be more technical, and he feels like he could be delivering the knockouts. Well, he called that perfectly because he got the knockout over Andre Fiallo in the second round. Good night, lights out. Good night, Mr. Fiallo. In the catchweight division, Lupita Gunez defeated Emily Ducot. Third round decision. In the middleweight division, you had Anthony Hernandez with a KO in the third round against Edmund Shabazian. That's a good win by Anthony Hernandez. And I will be honest with you, I seen that fight. Hernandez looks like a monster. I'm gonna put this on. I'm gonna put this out there now, ladies and gentlemen. Look out for this guy, Anthony Hernandez, in the middleweight division. He looks good. The pace, that's one thing I look for. And I mean, it's something that I've seen in the Volk, what the Volk can do. He can just keep that pace up with, like, if he doesn't look like he's getting tired, like, you know what I mean? He keep throwing his strong combos. He's ducking in and out. He's shooting for takedowns. He's getting a guy in the clinch up on the cage and, getting in commanding positions, and he just doesn't slow down and keeps changing positions. And, whatever he's doing, whether it's on the ground, whether it's, on the feet, he's just, going at pace, and he can maintain that pace, and he maintained that pace literally right up until the point where and it was one of those knockouts, Dom. It was not like a knockout and he's like, he's out to the world. It was a wore him down, over exerted himself on him and wore him down over that point where, a minute to go in the third round, he literally, the ref was just curled up into a ball and he was just unloading onto him. And the ref's just like, mate, you're not even trying to fight back. Like, I'm calling this fight off. And he got up and his face was like bladdered. He was hitting him with elbows. From the clinch, he was hitting him with elbows, getting on mount and hitting him with elbows and, big punches. It was just a masterful performance by Anthony Hernandez. And I'm saying this because I think Shabazian's a good fighter. Like, I think he's really good, but the way he just ragdolled him and just dominated him, I was like, what the hell? Who's this guy? Who am I watching? He hasn't been on my radar. So he's now definitely on my radar, and I think he's going to be, he's going to challenge in that middleweight. So watch out for him, ladies and gentlemen. Anthony Hernandez, don't forget that name. And in the main event, my girl, Mackenzie Dern, has elevated her game to another level. She's 13-3 in professional area. She defeats Angela Hill, 5th round decision, but it wasn't even close. It was a domination, Dom. It was a domination. Just go have a look at Angela Hill and how beat up she was at the end of the fight. It was an absolute whitewash. It was a clinic. It was just a masterful clinic. The pace, everything, just brilliant, just brilliant. So good to see. I like Mackenzie Dern. I'm trying to pick up 1 or 2 of her cards. I haven't been able to buy anything yet, but we'll do soon.
Lukey was just asking thoughts on what they're doing with Aljo. Bit of a back and forth.
I I did see that, and there's always arguments. I mean, Aljamain Sterling and Dana White don't see eye to eye. I don't know why. I feel like, I think at some point Dana White's gonna, he keeps. I don't know who to believe in this situation. I don't know who to believe, Dana White, or I don't know who to believe, Aljamain, because what you see in what comes out or whatever they say, it could be a ploy for them to get something that they want in return, whether it be what Aljo's trying to, his next fight, what he's trying to get, or whether Dana White's trying to push him in another direction for another fight. I don't know. But man, he can't. He's got to fight the best guys. You know what I mean? He's got to fight the best guys. So probably it's just got to do with pay, man. And look, the reality is, I think it's just, the whole pay aspect maybe comes down to the popularity of the fighter. Got a bit tongue twisted there. And how much they actually command in pay-per-views. And with Aljo not being that, I mean, the fans, not too many fans. I like him. I'm one of the people that defends him. I actually think he's good. I think he's very smart MMA fighter. And, the way he beat Cejudo is how he should beat him. He had length. He doesn't need to get in close and get into a, bash and crash with him, because Cejudo's got freaking power in them hands. And if he did land clean shots, he would knock him out. I'm telling you right now. So he goes, mate, I can't get in like that. So why would he do it? So he didn't. He fought from distance, fought smart. Wasn't a dominating performance, but you're the champ. Cejudo, you got to come out there and take the belt. You know what I mean? So like the champ's always going to get that call, and it's not like it was close. It was. I wouldn't say it was close. Maybe Cejudo could have won a round or two, but he definitely won over the whole distance of the fight. So yeah, look. I don't know. I feel like he's good, and maybe Dana White's not giving him his props. He doesn't feel like he's getting paid enough. He obviously beats Triple C. It's all got to do with money, man. It would all come down to
in there, man. Just get O'Malley in there. Just get a fucking done.
I'm just telling you,
everyone wants. Just get O'Malley in there.
That will sell pay-per-views because people love O'Malley. And
if O'Malley wins, that's a
good matchup.
Book him. You got to book him again, because that's going to sell you even more pay-per-views if he wins.
Yeah. They got that's the matchup I want to see. I want to see him versus O'Malley, because obviously everyone knows on this pod. How long have I been on O'Malley for, Tom? I've been calling him for ages. But like since he's he's had like 6 or 7 fights since I've been calling him out on this podcast since then, right? So look. That's the guy I want to see, and I think they're both good fighters, and I think it will be an interesting matchup if that is to eventuate. And we'll talk about it if it does, and we'll break it down if that is the case in the future. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. And look, there's another thing I will talk about in this, and is I touch on point is, I'm not sure if you've seen the comments from, obviously we know that big Francis Ngannou signed with PFL, and
we spoke about it last week.
Still disagreements between Dana White and Francis Ngannou when they're not even in the same organization now. They're now going back and forth over, people, obviously reporters bait Dana White saying, or they bait Ngannou saying Dana said this, and he gives his response and that, and I just don't understand, man. Like he's left the company. Who cares what he does? Like why are you commenting on what PFL is doing? Like who cares? I feel like there could be I don't know. I just feel like Dana White is feeling like he's a little bit threatened, where now guys are able to go get that type of good coin from other places, because now because you don't understand, like this all starts by someone's vision. Someone has a vision, and then all it takes is, hey, this guy's got a vision. He's got a product now. He's had a few backers. He's had 3 or 4 backers. And then now all of a sudden they say, oh shit, this has got traction. They've got an app. They've got selling pay-per-views. They're doing this. All right. How much you need? Oh, you need 10 million? Yeah. I got 10 million. That's not much for me. Yeah, here's 10 million. Oh, I've got a few other mates that might be interested in investing 10 million as well. You know what I mean? You've just met this multi-millionaire or billionaire. Oh yeah, I've got a few other mates that can give you a 10 million, and they might be interested in investing in, say, bare knuckle or PFL or whatever. And they just and then we'll see how it start. And I feel like that's how it happened for Dana White. And I think the fact that the issue with the UFC was it was hard to convince get people away from boxing and onto UFC, because people saying UFC is a bit too brutal, a bit too bloody, bit too crazy, right? In an actual cage, right? Now it's a norm. So now to build these other organizations, it's easy. You don't go, to build Bare Knuckle FC, there's no saying, whoa, man, that's so bad. Bare Knuckle FC, you've got fucking MMA. You kick people in the fucking head, man. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? That's not that bad. Bare Knuckle Boxing, it's not that bad to have PFL, another MMA organization. It's easy to build it up now because it's accepted, the type of combat sport. So I think he might feel a bit threatened. And, I don't know.
Lukey makes a good point here because even the last one championship in the US was good. Maybe Dana will have to start reaching into his pockets with more of these other promotions. Well, Sage Northcote fought on the last one card, who used to fight in the UFC. There's probably some other ones on there, but the other prominent one, so he's lost Ngannou to PFL and he's lost Mighty Mouse to one. Like, Ngannou, you can argue, is one of the best heavyweights at the time. I'm not going to say of all time, but at the time in the company. And he lost Mighty Mouse, who's arguably the greatest mixed martial artist ever, if you talk to a lot of people. So, like you're saying, Source, when there's a bit more money, you can attract more of these guys and lure them away. And like you said, UFC paved the way for mixed martial arts to be accepted. And now some of these other promotions might come along and take it to another level. Like you said, a vision that could be different to what Dana's is at UFC could actually influence that culture so much more than what the UFC is doing now, because they've got the market share. Someone that's grinding to become number one, that isn't number one, is going to try riskier things. Like they've got all types of mixed martial arts. They've got MMA fighters, like, where they have to fight against. Have you seen some of this stuff where it's like they've got to fight one round kickboxing, the next round is MMA, the third round is kickboxing, the fourth round is MMA, full mixed martial arts. Have you seen some of the shit they're doing? It's fucking incredible. Like, they're putting like sanctioned rules on certain rounds, on things you can and can't do, and then they've got kickboxers fighting against MMA guys, and they've got kickboxing in, like, it's unbelievable. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah, don't worry. I know he's in the house. I know Pooh Bear's in the house. I've got his promo ready to bring it up. Don't worry. We're gonna promo him at the end of the segment. Don't show it. I see Damien's jumped in, the man in question, and we'll get to it. And here it is. Right. So the man in question, Damien Voller, Pooh Bear MMA, who's jumped in the chat. Great to have him on board. He said 4 ounce of hard hand. I love it. Puts people to sleep. That's what he's saying there. He's got a big fight this weekend against Hogan. We're going to call him a scrub because we're with you, Damo, on this one. So Hogan, get stuffed. This is for the Amateur Interim Light Heavyweight Championship, XFC 65, Saturday, May 27th, Mansfield Tavern, Brisbane, Queensland. Doors open at 5 p.m. Fights start at 6. Good luck. We hope you get the win, mate. That's what we want. We roll with roll clean, and we roll with yourself, and obviously we follow you on the socials, and we're wishing you all the very best. And hopefully when you get some free time, we'll get you on the pod. It'll be quite nice to have an athlete on. We haven't had one yet, so you could be the first athlete on the Double Coverage podcast, which would be very nice. So good luck, Damien. All the best. Hogan, you've got it in. Mate. You've got it in big time this week, mate. So I hope you come prepared, because if we go to this one here, Damien says, don't worry about round 4 and 5. We won't be seeing him. That's what he's saying, Saucy. I love it. It's a bit of Mystic Mac about him. Let's give him the prediction. So all the best there. Says, cheers, legends. No worries, mate, at all. Adam says, bring on Chess Boxing League, I reckon, boys. Checkmate and an uppercut. There you go. There you go. You can start your own promotions.
Come up with everything, mate. Come up with anything. Well, they've got.
Damien says, looking forward to jumping on the pod. Definitely, we'll have to organise that. They've got everything though. They've obviously got slap championship source. Have you seen the one when they put 2 people in a phone booth and they beat the living shit out of each other?
Don't get me started on this shit. There's one where they're sitting next to each other in a car and they unbuckle the car seat and they start punching. Start
then
with
of course,
the on,
and then of course,
they
and then of course,
blow
they
the
got,
horn and they unbuckle
of
it
course,
and
they got.
start-
Even that they've also got some promotions that are, is quite appealing to people. Also, Source. There's a few promotions out there doing something a bit risque. Let's just put it out there.
Oh no! Oh
Yeah.
no!
Maddie says midget fighting in Bali. Mate, you should just bring it all under one umbrella, and you'd have an event every weekend. Just different stuff. Midgets
Oh.
into Brian Panties matches like in the WWE. You can have car fighting, phone booth fighting, slap fighting. It's all fun. Yeah, hello, Jay. He says, hello, sports card divestors. Yes. Speaking of sports cards, let's get straight into the source. Hobby Talk brought to you by Platinum Standard Grading. To the crew at Platinum Standard Grading. All right, Sauce, we've got a few good things on the agenda here. I forgot to ask you, have you got any packs you want to rip for the show tonight? By the way,
No.
You got nothing.
No packs.
No packs.
I got. I do have some if you want. I got some team coach, but I won't rip them all because we'll be here all night.
No, just rip like 4 if you want to rip 4.
I've got 4 here.
10. All right, there you go. Sauce, we've got some good ones here. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, before we get to Pop's Project 70, the state of the hobby, all right, he's back in discussion, and of course, leading it as per usual is Uncle Kenny, which is fine. That's good. But he's partnered back up with Gary V, who's willing to talk about the state of the hobby again on his podcast. So feel free to go check that out. That's on the Gary V podcast network. I'm not sure what it's called, but yeah, Kenny was on there talking about the state of the hobby, vintage cards, all that type of stuff. So go have a listen to that. Project 70.
Take it with a grain of salt, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget he does own the biggest auction house of selling cards, one of the biggest.
Correct.
So, yeah.
So here we go. Project 22. Did I say Project 70? What an idiot. Project 22. Neymar Jr. by Dai Tamura. That's actually very nice. Eric Cantona by Case McLean. Very nice.
I like the Cantona.
And Julian Alvarez by Case McLean.
I haven't bought any in a few weeks, so I might get one of those, a Neymar and a Cantona. Not bad.
Cantona. Very nice. All right. Here we go, Sauce. Before we get to the big story that I want to talk about, trimming, altering. I don't know if you remember a few weeks back, I came on here and I said the way to fix the grey area in the hobby is just do whatever you want. Just don't tell anyone. If you picked up my tone, you picked up my tone. I don't need to get into it. But there has been a nice update on this, all right, because this was posted 19 hours ago. And we talked about alterations. And I sent this morning in a group chat to Saucy and a few other people. And Saucy wasn't too happy. He was just like, what the hell is happening here? So I want to get him to react to it again and get his thoughts on it because you know my thoughts. But Saucy, here we go. Kurt's Card Care, all right? He's been under the microscope, this bloke. To be fair, all right? Safe to say he's been scrutinized for his kit. It's as bad as trimming.
Kurt's altering kit.
Yeah, well, according to the hobby. All right, here we have, if you want to get Cardladder up source, so we can do a bit of a price comp here on this. Here we have a 2000 playoff contenders, Tom Brady auto, authentic, altered card. All right. It's altered. PSA said it's altered. Kurt, as you can see over here, this was a hands-free restoration, not an alteration, a restoration. 2 different things, all right? Alteration, restoration. It's a bit different. Humid air only. got the corners and edges to come back to life, and went from altered to gradable. 30 minutes at 70% humidity will likely take several sessions. Just take a before picture of the edge or corner and monitor it. You'll notice it open back up and return to its normal shape when it's done. So he's obviously got the edge circled up here. After, there you go. This is what it looks like after. But funnily enough, Source, when he cracked it and regraded it, after he did his humidity tests at 70%, it came back as a PSA 4. Not an altered card anymore. It's now a legit card in the pop, ready to go. Nothing to see here. Bit of David Copperfield. Now you see me, now you don't. So there it is, Source. It's a PSA 4. You're already rubbing your head. You're not happy here, which I'm looking forward to. And then, of course, he says, thanks to the humidity trick, I was able to get this from altered to a PSA 4. That's what it says on there. So, Saucy, I know you're very happy about this result. And as much as everyone keeps telling me, because I've had a few discussions with some people in the DMs, as much as people keep telling me, don't worry, they'll catch on to it, PSA. They'll catch on to it. Don't stress. They're getting better at it. Right, Source? So with that information on top of this information, just your thoughts, you're catching on pretty well by the looks of things.
That card that card raw, Donna, that card raw is $10,000 still to this day. 10K, right? USD, raw, 10 to 12. To submit that card to PSA would cost you over $500 to submit that card for grading, whatever it would be, off their price guide. You're past the second threshold. You would be maybe over to, let's just say conservative. I don't know the number exactly, but I'm saying $250. You probably wouldn't want to send it in a low costing sub. You probably want to pay for a higher sub as well, right? The matter of fact that you're paying that amount of money to submit that card, how the hell does that go from an altered to a 4? Right? Isn't, like, if the card's been damaged, the card's been damaged. With the humidity trick, and what the humidity trick is, if you don't know what it is, you spray Kurt's little, you get Kurt off. If you've watched the videos, ladies and gentlemen, they're all up on his Instagram, they're all up on linked on his website. You spray your little cotton ball or whatever with a bit of his little magic spray, and you go on the edge of the card and you sort of just dab it on. Maybe
Dab
even
it
you
on.
might even get it on a bit of a Q-tip. Q-tip, you know, the clean earbuds, clean your ear. You bit on that and you just lightly dab it on that corner. Dab it on the corner on the top and on the side. And then what you do is you put it in the humiditor. 30 minutes, whatever that guy said, 70% in the humiditor, you take it out, right? And then you monitor it and see, how much should it pop out? Oh, all right, not really. And then you add a little bit more juice.
Rinse and repeat.
Right? And you just keep going. And what that's doing is, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not sure if anyone realizes, but when you have a piece of wood, if you submit a piece of wood, into water, water gets into the wood and it expands. Well, I'm not sure if you realize, but paper is made out of wood. And that's what cardboard is. Oh, who would have thought it can expand when moisture's added, right? So what are they doing? They're adding moisture. They're expanding the cardboard, pushing out that edge, making that edge that was flattened down more rounder. We don't know what this liquid or this thing does to the card long term. We don't know if adding the moisture and then if the card's then found in a drier condition for a period of time, does that moisture suck out of the cardboard and that corner then go back to being no good? Because its original shape has been deformed and it's being pushed back into shape with moisture. That moisture can dry up. What happens if that dries up? Well, we don't know. It's already been graded a PSA 4, so it's a PSA 4, Dom. It's already been graded a PSA 9, PSA 10, or whatever. We don't know.
Well, we needed,
5 years down, 5 years down the track. Don't worry about the guy who bought the car 5 years down the track or whatever.
Raul, welcome. AIH Sports is in the chat. great to have him here live on the pod. Jay says, look at that hanky-panky with the scissors. James says, Kurt blowing on it like a video game cartridge. And Jay's dropped this one. And I am going to bring it up because that's very funny.
maybe that's the secret ingredient in his spray.
Yeah, salt. Yeah, and he drinks some pineapple juice too, Sauce, before some of them.
That's extra sweet.
Anyway, as you can see, in that image, when the PSA 4, well, it got regraded from Ultra to PSA 4, all you need to do, ladies and gents, you can post the card, just cover up the serial number. That's all that matters. Can't trace it in the pop. Thanks for coming. Whoop-de-doo.
Yes, you can. It's probably the only PSA 4 in there.
You reckon?
Oh, maybe there might be another. I don't know. I'm too lazy to look it up on. And to be frank, unfortunately, I mean, this is the reality. I actually don't care enough to go into that extent. I'm just warning you.
So what was the PSA? What's the PSA 4 on Cardladder? Does it have a PSA 4 price there? You said it was raw at 10K.
Yeah, it doesn't have a PSA 4 price. It only goes to PSA 6, and like a PSA 6 goes for 12
grand.
Yeah, 12 grand. And so does a raw, which apparently, according to that, PSA 7, last PSA 7 sold 13.6. And there's a lot of these out there as well. PSA 8 sold for 25.
Yeah.
So it starts getting more and more as it goes to there's PSA 7.5. Why is there no 9.5? Why? To this day, I'm still confused. Why? Why is there an 8.5 and no 9 and 7.5 and no 9.5? Riddle me that, Nat Turner. Riddle me that.
Well, he could if he came on the pod, but he doesn't want to do that, so you never know, Sauce.
Because he doesn't like the hard-hitting questions, Uncle Nat.
Oh, Jay. Oh. James says, time for you guys to head to Rumble. Not a bad shout, to be honest.
The comments are getting that way, and when the comments go like this is when we start going left. But we'll keep running along. Look,
we are going to run along. Go for it.
No, I was just going to say, ladies and gentlemen, we bring it up again. What and the whole point behind this for me is, what the fuck is the point of these grading companies? What's the point? What is the point of them? They are literally ripping hands, more and more money out of collectors' hands, so you have less money to actually spend on the cards that you want to collect or buy and have in your collection, or buy to flip and make money. But they're literally just pulling the wool over everyone's eyes. It's so ridiculous. And another example of that is, and go watch Dan the Carman's video on this, where he talks about this one that's here. It says about pop control. I'll click on it here so you can see the PSA grading, pop control, and inconsistent standards. He talks about, and he references the interview with Atia Sports, Jason Koontz, who was on Jeremy Lee's Sports Card Live, and interviewed him, and he talked about how PSA has these ebbs and flows in their grading process, where they bring in a bunch of new graders, and now they're new graders don't understand the standards, and they're a bit difficult, and then they relax them and they get a bit better, and then they get a bit harder because and it's just how can that happen? Why is there inconsistencies? How can I understand they're grading by humans, but this isn't good enough in a if you actually want to have some legitimacy to this industry, how can you have any legitimacy or take the grading seriously when they can't even get the basic, of their whole businesses, what their whole business is meant to be correct? How can you even take them seriously? And then they bring out all this other shit where you got guys literally, trimming cards, getting it through. Who knows how many trim cards are out there? Who knows how many, Kurt's come care, kitted, cards are out there. Like, who knows? No one knows. No one knows. And you will never know because PSA can't catch him. BGS can't catch him. SGC can't catch him. Whoever, HGA definitely can't catch him. They might be out of business soon. I don't know. That might be innuendo. But
this is great. This is genuinely fantastic. Jay said PSA shares went from $25 in April 2020 to $97 in December 2020. That's all you need to know. These idiots sell opinions, not facts. It's all you need to know. There's a lot of investors there that made some good money. Rich people getting richer. Not like we've said that before. James says you just keep growing until you get the right grader. That's fair enough.
Well, yeah, that's what I got from that interview with Mr. Otius. That's what I got from that. You just keep going until you get the grade, and if you don't, you take it out and you spoon down the corner a little bit and do a little jazzity. He says he hasn't. He said, "Oh yeah, I've spooned down a corner." Who knows what else he's done? He hasn't said he says he hasn't trimmed the card. I've never trimmed the card.
You spooned the card as
He's
well.
been doing it for 25 years. You don't know. What someone says to your face, you don't really. You can't take their word for it.
Hey, that's what I said, Source. That's what I said. Just do whatever you like.
Just like when Mr. What was his name? Tyler Hitt came on this show. Oh, never sell HGA. Blah. Well, we know what happened there. He fucking sold it, didn't he? And cashed out. And what did they do? HGA, same thing. What PSA did when they took too many cards they could handle, propped up their books, and sold it to some company. And did the same thing. That's exactly what they did. The exact same thing what PSA did. So it's and on another note, that's exactly what PWCC did. They got rid of a few employees, made their books look a little bit better than it was with less employees, this and that. Boom, made the sale to Fanatics. Fanatics buys PWCC for a bit more. Might be a bit more of an inflated price than Fanatics may have been willing to pay. Should they have seen.
But for them, they're happy. They've got an established marketplace. They don't have to do all the groundwork. It's already set up for them. They just make it their own now. They go through the not even hurdles. They just go through the chains now. Fanatics. They got an auction house. They're taking over big time. Like everyone wants a gatekeeper. Everyone wants a gatekeeper. You're going to get it in Fanatics. And whatever they do, you're just going to have to live with it. I don't think they're going to be as receptive as BGS. When you complain about every little thing, they get so scared they run away from it. When they got Monopoly, like Saucy said, it's their way or the highway. You just got to deal with it. You live in their world. Well, you're not going to go buy the products. You've been complaining about Panini for 10 years. So... Jay said he'd sell his grandmother for $5 if he could. Guy from PWCs. We got to go to Rumble. We really do. That was big news, actually, that purchase. Let's get to our last part before Saucy can rip some packs. I'm going to show you a few things, Sauce. Opinion from yourself and the chat. I'm actually keen, like a serious opinion. So, here we go. Just show you some of these cards. Scoring Kings, Jordan.
Classic inserts.
Yeah. Top's Finest.
Very nice.
Jordan. Level 4, Luca the Don.
Nice.
And a Banchero Kaboom.
Nice.
To 10. So, Source, every single one of those cards is a custom card.
Oh, wow.
They're not real. Very real.
Nice.
So someone posed the question and they wanted it to be asked. And I thought this is actually very good to talk about on this podcast. Selling custom cards in Facebook groups. People that design custom cards and wanting to sell them to make a bit of a living as their hobby. The parameters around doing something like that. There was a listing for a custom card in a group. An admin cracked the shits, lost it at the person, told them to take the post down. I'm not sure if they ended up blocking that person or kicking him out of the group. I'm not 100% sure. but they had to pull the post down. They weren't happy with it. Even that, the card clearly stated in the description and on the card, on the actual physical card itself, it says reprint. And in the post, it said reprint. I don't know the person, Jay. I don't know the admin's name, or else I would have said it. I forgot her name. I think the name was told to me. Female admin in one of the groups. If I know the name, someone knows it, let me know, and I'll name and shame. I couldn't do a rat's ass. Your thoughts, Source, on selling custom cards. Is it acceptable in the hobby? What needs to be done when selling these cards in groups, if they are to go ahead? Selling them on eBay also? Does it open up a can of worms on eBay for scammers to go out there and just sell the same card? People miss the reprint on there. Does it create a market for scammers to actually make the exact same card and make it look so good as the original that it slips through the cracks?
I mean, that probably happens already, Doma. We've seen that.
I believe it too.
The people, and you know what the thing is? I feel like, why wouldn't some people try to do this with some higher value cards, especially some of the what's supposed to be SSP print but doesn't have an actual numbering.
So this is numbered,
and that are worth quite a bit. I understand.
So this Kaboom is numbered.
Is this Kaboom like a copy of what the original one looks like, and is just like a reprint version of it, or is it? Or is it?
Well, the Luca is the level 4.
Well, the Luca is exactly the same. See, look, to be honest, I don't really like that. I don't really like selling the exact same ripoff of what Panini's card is. I personally, I don't really like it.
If it says reprint on it, do you care? If it specifically states it on the card?
Nah.
See, so on here, the Jordan, over here, it says reprint on the card.
Yeah. Reprint, yeah.
Not on this. This is the front of that card. Here's the Scoring Kings. Here it says reprint on the card. Whoop. Why is it not? And then nothing here on this one. I don't know. Jay reckons nothing wrong with it. He says no different to selling prints of original paintings.
That's a fair point.
I just think if you're going to sell them, like on eBay, in the listing, the first thing you have to say is reprint and then name the card. And the card has to have reprint on it somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
It has to have reprint on it. Like, that's me personally. If
I'm all for custom cards. You know that. I've bought custom cards of custom design cards and card art of stuff that people that have cut up other cards and joined them together and taken one card from one part from another card, one part from another card, and joined it and drawn their own art, and some that are even custom drawn. Like, I'm all for that. You know that.
So Matty Tape says there's cards for sets that are out of reach price wise, and if they can get a reprint to put in a folder, I'm keen, but has to have a reprint or blank back on it for their PC. Like an unattainable card.
Yeah.
Just so they can put it in there. Jay says card dorks are too precious on certain things there. I don't mind it. If it states it on there, it doesn't bother me. I get it. Like, a lot of cards are unattainable. It does open up a can of worms, though, being devil's advocate, the other side of things. Well, if they look exactly the same and you don't put a reprint, you can just sell it off as the original card. And people will buy it.
Yeah.
And they'll actually sell them for the going price. And as we spoke about on this show, 2 weeks ago, our good friend Manuel got stung when he bought a fake slabbed of PWCC of a baseball player.
Well, actually, apparently, technically, it should have been called an altered card because it wasn't fake. It came from an uncut sheet, and someone's just cut the sheet and slabbed the card. So, it was actually printed by the factory, but it was sold or something
Yeah,
or
but
another.
Source, what's to say you send it through and some Lemon doesn't even realize, and he's like, it looks as good as the original, and he slabs it at
No,
PSA and it
mate,
gets
I
the
think
auction.
I think some of that. I
That would
think some of
happen.
that stuff is going on right now. Maybe even in Pokemon and stuff. Like people are duping Pokemon cards and making
Especially
fake,
the original
you know.
stuff. The newer stuff's a bit harder with all that full art stuff.
Ah, man, you'll be surprised, man. What people can do with certain things, man. You'll be surprised, man. And you'll be surprised, man. Some of the cards that, they might not be that hard to dupe, and they might be a $20 card, $30 card, and then when you get a PSA 10, it's worth a $400 card. So it's worth trying to, get those through. And there's no numbering on it or anything. So, man, yeah, I don't know. It's the Wild Wild West, as we say, Dom. It's the Wild Wild West out there. So make sure you're just researching and trying your best to not get you. I mean, we don't want to make it sound like every person in the hobby is out to get you. It's a small minority. It's a small minority, and I'll be honest with you, 98% of the people I've dealt with have been good.
It's always a small amount.
4 or 5
years.
Years.
Happens.
So yeah, just be aware of it, ladies and gents. Just be aware of it. Just be aware of it.
So there's our take on it. I don't know how it sits with yourselves at home listening, but feel free to send through any messages if you have any opinions on it. All right, Sauce, let's get to these pack rips and wrap it up for another week.
Brightness off.
That's bright. Jeepers creepers.
I have to go there. There we go. Oh. You know what? I'm gonna.
Jeez.
Oh, there we go. I put the yellow light. That's better. All right, let's make myself big. We're going to go 4 packs because I don't want to be here forever. And we're going to try to wrap these up after an hour and a half. So we're getting right to that hour and a half mark. I'm going to go straight. Oh, yeah, got a nice Nick Martin for the collection. There you go. I'll take that.
Very nice.
PC. There we go. Straight to the hit. I'm not going to show the base. There's the hit. Luke Shuey. Shuey is playing a bit pooey this season.
Could all be gone next year. All those vets might have a new home to play for.
Oh, bang!
Oh, nice.
Star wild card, Darcy Parish.
You take that. Your team as well.
Take that too. Why not? I'll tell you what, the edge cut on that is absolutely horrendous. But mate, Doma, I feel like they do a real good job with the cartoon, like
I prefer the mascots.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, why didn't they do something like that in the select?
I love the mascots.
They look really good. They look really good.
There's a gold here. I'll show you the gold in a second. Got a gold here.
Trying to steal my thunder, Dom.
No, just to show the designs on the variations, mate, as well.
Oh, bring it up.
Bring it up. I won't bring it up then.
No, bring it up.
We'll do it at the end.
Sadi,
you're pulling everyone. The guy, you actually know this bloke.
I've met him a few times.
Yeah, Sadi.
All right, last pack mojo.
Yeah, you've done well here.
I've done all right off 4 packs. You take that.
No,
that wild card's actually like a $20 card, I think.
You hit the square edge of Scanlon's card, and you'd be like,
you know what? For me, this is the greatest 4 packs you can pull because I've pulled another Essendon one, which I don't have, Matt Wolfie.
Oh, yeah?
There you go. So take that off the... I pulled Mitch Duncan here.
Oh, and the gold.
Not bad. There we go. Very nice. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll take it. Show us the gold. There it is. He's hit the Max King. Star. What's that? A star card?
Yeah, it's a star wild card, the same as your Darcy Parish, but the gold variation. So, yeah. There you go. Jay says, "Good night, fellas."
Gold 1 in 432. Team 1 in 36 packs. Mate, that's a box hit, mate.
There you go.
That's a box hit right there, Doma.
It's your
1
boy,
in 36 packs.
Your team.
You'd say that. Come on.
You'd be happy with that, mate.
I'm happy with that.
Your team.
All right.
Very nice.
That's us, ladies and gents.
Well done. Good way to finish off the episode. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope you're still living, loving, and breathing sport. I'm Dom with the great man Sauce. It's Double Coverage, and peace.
Peace. Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to leave a review on the Apple Podcasting app. Also, follow us on socials: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Talking all sports. Double Curve.